Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the semifinals of the THOR Fragbite Open Qualifier number 2. This is a best of 3 series to get a chance to go to the finals of this qualifier number 2. The winner of this will play against No Tidehunter in the best of 3 final series. The winner of that has the opportunity to go to Stockholm, Sweden to get a chance to compete for around $20,000. We have UR versus 4FC. You are a Jordanian team versus 4FC, a Swedish team. And with me is Luminous. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing quite all right. Hopefully my computer is doing okay as well because currently I'm taking a long time to load in.
That would be very unfortunate because Luminous and Bebon, it's like peanut butter without jelly.
Peanut butter is still good.
Peanut butter is still good.
By
Hey, there
itself.
you are. Anyway, yeah, this is the Fragbite Thor Open Qualifier, so if you want to join in, sign up yourselves, and you get to test your metal against professional teams. And if you live in Europe and you live close to Stockholm, Sweden, and if you win the qualifiers, you might get a chance to compete for a hefty grand prize pool. But right now, I have not seen either of these teams play. I do not know too much about Jordanian Dota, other than it was the Jordanian teams that introduced Nature's Prophet in the metagame in Dota 1 a while ago on
Was it really?
yeah, Asuna. Remember his Lothar's Dagon,
Ah,
Nature's
that's
Prophet?
right. That's right, Asuna. Well, I mean, Melk used it for a long time, but I guess it was really popularized by Asuna. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I think I've casted both these teams before, although it's one of those, one game cast. I don't remember too much. 4FC has been on the fringe for a long time. They're kind of like a tier 2 team that shows a lot of, I guess, promises, potentials, but they never really have came to heights in a sense. So let's see how far they could go against, in this qualifier, whether they could take out YR and whether they could go all the way against No Tide, because No Tide waiting on the other side of the bracket is looking immensely powerful.
yeah, no Tidehunter of course won the ESWC West qualifiers against EG just the MYM to make it to the finals of this qualifier. But anyway, that's going to be a different matchup they'll have to face in the finals, and 4FC banning out the Batrider. So this might indicate that they want to go into a TA pickup, but keep in mind that YR has the first pick. So if YR can pick up the TA themselves. But otherwise, I'm not really too sure why they banned Batrider because we did not see Batrider at all yesterday. But hey, I'm a big fan of Batrider anyway. He's one of my favorite heroes and a very powerful laning presence, so I guess they don't want to face that initiation. Could also be to protect a BKB carry.
Yeah, they're putting themselves in a very awkward position in the fact that they also have to either give up a Templar Assassin or a Wisp. They do choose to ban out Templar Assassin, so perhaps thinking of picking a somewhat of a weaker solo mid hero that generally would not handle the TA or Batrider well, as both of them will dominate the lane. But this gives YR a lot of options. They could go for the Wisp, which is kind of the top pick, and nowadays it's constantly banned. YR though, would they want to go for a Wisp? Wisp is a hero that limits your playstyle in a sense. You kind of have to play 2+3, or your Wisp +1 is going to be always together, and then your 3 other heroes is going to be always together. At least that's how Ehome played it in TI2. But right now it's wait and see for YR there, as they're using a lot of time for the first pick. It's going to be Rubik. Interesting.
Rubik is a solid pickup, especially when the other team has second pickups, where they usually want to get a big team fight AoE presence. That means you really have to be careful if you pick up a Tidehunter, a Brewmaster, or somebody like an Enigma, just because Rubik always has the threat of stealing that ultimate. So I think in the first pickup, Rubik is quite solid choice, not as strong in when you have the second pickup, but in the first pickup it really starts to limit some of the options that 4FC can go for. So I like this pickup a lot, but then again, they could pick Wisp to pair it with somebody right off the bat. Leshrak is still in the pool, so we might see him as well. So there are a lot of options that 4FC can go for, but they do have to be careful if they pick up a giant teamfight hero of the Rubik.
Yeah, Gen Teamfight heroes will make will be somewhat annoyed by Rubik, so a lot of the focus should go on Rubik. And depending on what kind of lane that Rubik is in, if Rubik's in that solo mid position, then he will have the item. He will have the gold to get that mobility item, Force Staff, Blink Dagger, whatnot. Looks like it's gonna be semi AOE, Jakiro as well as Queen of Pain. There's quite a bit of ganking potential here. We know what Queen of Pain can do. Very snowball hero. If she gets a small lead, she will make that small lead into a huge lead with, Sonic Wave and whatnot. And Jakiro, don't underestimate his ganking power as Ice Path. Very, very quick casting animation, and the long range really sets up everybody else on the team. Queen of Pain in particular, to jump in and get many, many kills.
Yep, Jakir with that Ice Path, now if you even run into the Ice Path while it's up, you will get stunned for the remainder of the duration. So, considering its long range and its fast casting animation, it's a pretty ridiculous spell. Also, a quite cheap mana cost as well, I think 75 at level 1.
75, yeah.
Yep, and Jakiro has quite high base intelligence, so he can spam that a number of times. And Jakiro with that Liquid Fire is quite strong against towers. That Liquid Fire will slow down the tower's attack rate, make it so much easier for you to push in, just because that tower will not be hitting you nearly as much. But meanwhile, YR taking a bit of time to think about what they want to go for the second and third pick. They have perhaps a Soulmid Rubik these days, I think in the European scene, is either Soulmid or helps out the carry in the Trine. So maybe they're going to pick up a jungler right now before 4FC can start banning out the junglers. That might be a proper choice for them. Or maybe they're going to go and try to pick up some of their other heroes that they like.
Yeah, personally, I'm very curious as we see the Leshrac pick up here. 4FC picks up a Queen of Pain, and generally you don't go Quap early. I mean, she's one of those filler heroes in the sense that rounds out a long lane hero if you need it, or if you see a very offensive kind of lineup and you want extra blink. She's a hero that you go into, but you don't actually just second pick Queen of Pain. So I'm not sure if 4FC just feels very comfortable with this hero or requires her in a particular lineup. She's going to work out fine in a sense against most of these heroes, but Reality Rift plus Telekinesis Lift is going to be the death of Queen of Pain, I feel like, many times in this game. So Queen of Pain either have to start up really, really quick or get herself on a Lincoln Sphere, because, I mean, sure, you could still blink away from the Reality Rift. Keep in mind that Queen of Pain's blink animation is quite long, and a lot of times when she's trying to blink away, she's going to get stunned and whatnot. So I kind of want to predict that Queen of Pain will have a tough game because there's stun heavy lineup on the enemy side. But you know, Chen on the flip side will be doing a lot of rescue work, I imagine.
Yeah, I think 4FC, I think they found themselves a little bit limited by the Rubik on what they want to pick up in the early stages of the game, just because Rubik can steal so many of the spells. And right now, there's not really a great spell you can steal. You can steal Sonic Wave, you can steal Blink, but those are pretty much it. I mean, if you steal Hand of God, that would be very good. Yeah, Ice Path is a strong spell as well. But it's not any game-breaking ultimate, so maybe that's what 4FC was going to go for. Really just sort of protect themselves against Rubik, but it looks like YR are going to start banning out semi-carries and carries. They ban out the Juggernaut, so they don't want to mess with that healing ward in conjunction with Ice Path and all the ganking power that Queen of Pain can provide.
Yeah, lately I have been seeing a lot of Juggernaut bans, and I have not seen it in action, but I guess what I'm guessing is the Twin Head Dragon plus Juggernaut makes a very, very powerful pushing combination. They are great killing combo with the dual breath as well as Ice Path. Long initiation, great slow and spin, of course, we know. Great damage. I think 500 damage at Bright at level 1, so that's pretty insane. Of course, Healing Ward plus Liquefier is a insane pushing combo. So Twin Head and Juggernaut is it's a combo that we don't see often in pro game because Juggernaut's getting banned. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd because, like you said, he's getting banned, but we don't see him picked even when he's not banned. Or if we do see him picked, it's not nearly with the frequency that we do see him banned. But Nature's Prophet is the ban out, so I guess they want to really stop the push, seeing the Jakiro in the chat. They're just like, alright, slow down. We don't want to get all our towers dead in a couple of seconds. We have Leshrac. We want to be doing the pushing ourselves. And Leshrac, he's a good pusher, but not the best anti-pusher just because he has to get up close and personal in order to do the bulk of his damage. So these bans make a good amount of sense.
Well, let me kind of put an asterisk on what you just said. Leshrac is a very, very good counter pusher if he goes for a lightning build, but we have not seen the lightning build ever, I think, in European games. I think the Southern East Asian game, Orange MUFC, perhaps some of the Chinese teams sometimes go lightning build depending where that Leshrac is. But yeah, the way that most European plays him, he is a horrible counter pusher. You really need a lot of HP for that Pulse Nova to really counter push. I guess Spliff is an okay counter push spell, but really it's not exactly the best cast animation. It's not the greatest range. Not something you can truly rely on.
That's true. Meanwhile, 4FC banning out offlane heroes. So maybe we're going to see a Windrunner or Enigma ban. Maybe we're going to even see a Tidehunter ban in order to sort of secure themselves. Well, I guess they probably don't think that YR are going to pick up Tidehunter for themselves, but hey, that could be a possibility. Consider that 4FC is on the dire side, so they won't have to worry about Beastmaster stacking Ancients as effectively. He can still do it, but that might be an offlane hero they will consider banning. We'll see what they decide, but right now, these lanes pretty versatile. I mean, Leshrac and Chaos Knight will most certainly be laning together, but Jakiro is going to be the support in the safe lane. with Chen, and looks like 4FC is just still waiting on their carry.
Yeah, it's also very, very strange to not see a Tide or the Enigma in this particular game so far. I'm very curious to see who is going to pick it up first, because currently both of these lineups aren't really limited by the cooldown. The longest cooldown currently in the game right now is Queen of Pain. I guess to a certain extent Chen as well. But for the most part, most of these heroes are quite combat worthy without their ultimates. And if you add a TIE Hunter who has an ultimate cooldown of 150, Enigma of cooldown of 8 hours, suddenly, like, how do you shape your team fights? How do you shape your aggression once those ultimates are down? Do you actually want to include those heroes in your lineup? They are very game-breaking ultimates, but once they're down, the enemy team is fully capable of taking a tower from you simply because your TIE Hunter isn't a TIE Hunter, he's just a glorified melee creep in a sense.
Well, he has Acre Smash.
And Gush.
And Gush. And he
he's
has that
really tanky,
310 base move speed, so
but
he can...
he's got no Ravage.
That's true. So YR are going to pick up the Beastmaster for themselves as the offlane hero. Keep in mind that they are on the range side, so it won't be nearly as easy for him to stack Ancients. He can't just sort of go the lane he has to actually commit, but he can do it while he's checking for runes and things like that. So YR Beastmaster most likely going to be in the offlane, giving them another Roar, another short cooldown spell as well, like you mentioned before. And they have a lot of stunts on their side, so if 4FC find themselves out of position, they will just die.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's way too many single target lockdown. Telekinesis is no joke. Chaos Knight, of course, Beastmaster Roar with a relatively short cooldown right at level 1. Keep in mind that Rubik, any spells they steal, in particular the Ice Path as well as Blink from Queen of Pain, will make that telekinesis extremely, extremely reliable. So 4FC has to make sure that they have perfect sight. But when you're dealing with perfect sight, Beastmaster has that hog covered as well. So I'm really liking the draft so far coming out YR. I think the only way for 4FC to really combat this is to get massive, massive AoE. But there's that Rubik looking at you. Do you want to pick massive AoE ultimates?
Yeah, Rubik's so annoying. He just throws a wrench into all of your plans. He's not really as annoying as somebody like a Darkseer, but he just forces you to pick completely different. But Void is going to be the pickup. That makes sense because Rubik, even if he does steal a Chronosphere, Void won't be caught in it, but he can still freeze the allies, so that is something. But Void going to be the hard carry. Pretty interesting. Void will take actually a lot of time to farm up though, and even if he does get something like a BKB, there's so many stunts that can lock him in place. But I guess this is the only carry that they want to pick up against the Rubik, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Void, but just not in this particular game. Beastmaster, Chaos Knight, as well as Kinesis, Leshrac, or Rubik and Leshrac, all of them has a way to lock down Void, so it really forces Void to go to get the BKB. But even if he does get the BKB, it's not the end-all be-all answer, as Beastmaster Roar does go through it. Invoker finishes the draft for YR, as it does provide a lot of crowd control. I think in this particular game, you can actually go for the Exhort build, considering that there's so many setup stuns. Chaos Knight being one of them, Leshrac being another, Telekinesis being yet another. So the Exhort build will give them a lot of early game offenses, or if they're a little bit afraid of Void, of course EMP Tornado would drain a lot of Faceless Void's mana. Not exactly a hero with high mana pool. So I feel both of the Invoker build would be fine. I personally favor the Exhort a little bit more, as Alacrity on Chaos Knight is simply no joke in the mid stage of the game, and Force Spirit gives them a lot more push. All these heroes on the Radiant side are somewhat or on the Dire side, excuse me, are somewhat very squishy. So that Force Spirit is going to do a huge number on them as well. I love YR's lineup here. I hope they will execute it very well in the laning stage.
Yeah, they have a very strong mid-game lineup, and they can go for a really strong time push. So Windrunner is going to be the off-lane hero for 4FC. Windrunner is just going to get pushed once they decide to get pushed again, but has that Shackle Shot to get them disabled. But if Rubik steals that Shackle Shot, hey, that's going to be really great for him. But anyway, YR, they just have a lot of... all their cooldowns are quite short, so they can take team fights quite frequently, so that's what I'm a little bit worried about for 4FC. Sonic Wave, long cooldown in the early game, Chan, long cooldown, Hand of God, Chronosphere, 100-second cooldown at level 3, but still longer than anything else that YR has, so YR can take much more frequent team fights, so the laning phase really has to be controlled by 4FC.
Yeah, they could take a lot of freaking team fight, but one thing that YR does not have going for them is that they don't have too much tower pushing. The only thing that they really have to their name is Leshrac, and that gets outclassed by Chen.
Yeah, they have the second best star in the game to Empowering Haste. Inner Beast.
Well, Empowering Haste is good if he skills it. I'm not sure if he will, or Inner Beast if you're trying to say that as a Beastmaster. I mean, if he does skill it, I'm not sure if he will. The Call of the Wild is a very, very good award to skill in this game. But let's introduce the players. We have DX, D-X Ash. On the Rubik, we have Beastmaster being handled by a name that I will not pronounce. The Shrag on the mid lane is going to be played by Bazer?
Yep.
Ezer? Jesus.
Sure.
Sparta on the bot lane here is going to be playing Invoker, and it's going to be YapZor on the Chaos Knight.
Meanwhile, on the dial, looks like Queen of Pain is going to the offlane position, so that's a little bit odd, but Strangby is going to be playing that Queen of Pain. ALX is going to be playing the Windrunner in the top lane. Meanwhile, Void is going mid. He's Curly. That's the 4F plus C part, Curly. Slombomb is playing the Chen, and Eris Loco is playing the Jakiro. So right now, the lanes are a little bit weird if 4FC decides to continue with this. Void solo mid, Queen of Pain solo long lane. I mean, Queen of Pain can do this, but she does need items.
Well, Queen of Pain definitely is one of the, I guess, the best solo long lane, at least on the team. Well, Windrunner definitely.
Yeah, they have Windrunner.
That. Yeah, I guess they just want to make sure that Windrunner gets very, very far. And in this particular game, Windrunner don't have to limit herself by getting a mech, as Chen will be getting that. So look towards a Windrunner getting a quick 4-staff into maybe even a quick Scythe of Ice, which will be extremely game-breaking. I have no doubts in my heart that this would not be a solo mid basis Void, as pretty sure Twin Head's going to roam around. Yeah, he is going to roam around. And on the mid lane, that they're going to be facing yet another dual lane, Leshrac and Chaos Knight. I gotta say though, one lane is very, very offensive. The Radiant, of course, has a lot of stun, a lot of disable. The Dire isn't too bad at getting away. I mean, Twin Head Dragon, very, very high natural tanky, strength growth, as well as Ice Path, and of course, Krillia on the Void has that time walk.
Unfortunately for Slombon, they spotted his movement by that Observer Ward, and they have a Sentry Ward to block off the Ancient Camp, but Beastmaster can stay in the lane, considering Windrunner is not backed up by anybody, so he doesn't even need to stack Ancients at this point. Meanwhile, Jakiro, very tanky support, has decent attack animation, but he's limited by his short range. But he can tank up, he can stay in the team fights, and he has a lot of spells to cast. He's picked up Ice Path at level 1, meanwhile Chaos Knight just gonna farm up against Void. Pretty even matchup. Void has pretty good base damage, but once Chaos Knight hits level 2 and level 3, Void will have to be a bit careful. Ice Path already being used, and Leshrac stands in it, but not too much trouble right there.
Yeah, man, Jakiro gotta be extremely careful about that Ice Path usage. Whenever that thing is on cooldown, that is a free sign to go. Good thing that he used it when they weren't level 2 just yet. Now both these guys turns level 2. Also look towards that Observer Ward being placed on the high ground. Will really give the Reality Rift range that he needs to jump, because a lot of times when you're trying to chase with that Reality Rift, it gets fogged and whatnot, and without Observer Ward up on high ground, they would never get fogged.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see no typical tri-lane versus off-lane. We're just seeing different lanes, dual lanes mid, as we have a Roman Jakiro. Queen of Pain is going to get a decent amount of levels and experience now, unlike if she was facing against a tri-lane herself. Meanwhile, it looks like Jakiro is going to be in the mid lane, as Void's going to be roaming to the top lane. Looks like Beastmaster might have to be a bit careful, but really Void, unless he gets a couple lucky bashes. Oh, there goes bash number 1, and Windrunner is going to get in position, cast Windrunner, slowing Beastmaster down. Here comes Time Walk, a lot of slow coming through. Looks like ALX, oh, very close to dying, but Beastmaster is the first one to fall. Sunstrike coming in! Wow, nicely done. As that wasn't even the Radiant Ward, that was a Dire Ward, but nice recognition by Sparta on the bottom lane. Just saying, you're gonna take my Beastmaster, but you'll never get away with it.
Well, of course, Krillin would still be extremely happy about how things went, as he did pick up the first blood. Now we're going to see a quick lane switch. Generally, when you're lane switching, you are completely disadvantaged, but with the first blood making it up, they should be very, very happy. Leshrac picks up a haste rune in the mid lane, and that is picked up unseen, so this could be a go attempt on the mid lane. Alex is going to get hit by that 1 second Sunstrike. Oh, the Splurf and the Sunstrike, because it was just a 1 second stun, it would not be it. Alex thanking his lucky stars as he has the boots of speed picked up, and we'll be tangling it up. But this is a very, very important moment on the mid lane here. YapZor, very unfortunately for him, does not have mana for more go. So if Windrunner correctly identifies that, and seems like she has, she's going to be playing a little bit more aggressive until that 210 mark. 210 is the mana cost it takes to use both of Chaos Knight's spells.
Yeah, Lesh actually put a point to Lightning, so he has a bit more harassment, but still, Lightning at level 1 does not do nearly enough damage as Edict would, especially on the Hasted Leshrac. I mean, he does have that casting animation, so he's not as good in terms of lane support if he just run at people with Edict. But right now, Beastmaster is going to get pressured back, and since that, well, at least the Sentry Ward has been dewarded by the side of YR, but still, 4FC switching up the lanes, showing a lot of versatility, and it looks like they're settling in pretty well right now. And they really have to be careful because Void's going to get free farm now. Meanwhile, Invoker is going to contend with Queen of Pain. Does have a solid last hit, as we can just check out the last hits. Chen, Chaos Knight, and Void leading the way.
Yeah, how ironic is that when the Beastmaster is facing against a Windrunner range hero, he's up on her grill and trying to get last hits, whereas when there's a Void and a melee hero, he's staying very, very far back, really afraid of the ability that for the Void to jump in conjunction of the Twin Head Dragon and get that kill. But yeah, on the bot lane here right now, Fragbite is having a similarly a tough time because the Telekinesis and a Sunstrike will actually do huge amount of damage to Fragbite. Sunstrike's currently on cooldown, probably did use it on the mid lane. Back to the mid lane though, Alex already have the boots of speed. I think this is a good game to go bottle on, as you really need to fight for the rune control against that Leshrac CK dual lane mid, or you really will just get out-nuked.
Yep, that is definitely the case, as there was a gank again on the middle lane a couple minutes ago, or a minute ago, but they didn't chain the stuns properly. Leshrac's going to get an invisibility, or an illusion rune, just going to bottle up. Leshrac picks up an early bottle. That was actually Chaos Knight's bottle, I think, so Chaos Knight is just going to have that illusion rune and be very satisfied with that. Meanwhile, Chen going to roam around, does not have a smoke of deceit, so cannot just smoke around unseen to gank out the Invoker possibly. But meanwhile, they're pretty happy with this. Void is getting absolute free farm on this top lane. Already 1800 gold tank. Will he go for an early Midas? Will he go for something else? And I mean, he could pretty much go for anything at this point.
Yeah, I think Midas would be fine. I still am not a big fan of going Midas and then Battle Fear and Faceless Void because it really slows him down too much. He needs some extra survivability, and most of his survivability comes from the levels and things like. Well, I guess Midas helps in that in the sense that you do get levels, but it just gives
engagement on the middle lane. Alex is going to take a stun and Reality Rift, but Chaos Knight is too low HP and Leshrac not in position to follow up, so that was unfortunate. For YR, they had a solid landing idea, but looks like 4FC are just adapting extraordinarily well.
Yeah, good job by the women harassing down the Chaos Knight quite a bit in terms of the HP department to really make sure that the Chaos Knight can't dive too deep. And in a sense, her offense has saved her defensively. Back to the Void though, I just feel like whenever you go for Midas on Void, it just gives the enemy team a huge rest on your head. Gank me, gank me. I have no HP. I have, no survivability. I'm an easy kill. And generally, they do gank you. So we'll see how Curly goes did.
Well, he's not picking up Midas, and he still has 200 gold to spare, so it looks like he's just going to forego it entirely, just going to wait as long as possible. Might go for Battle Fury, like you mentioned. Another stun comes on the Windrunner. Can they actually chain it? But she has an invisibility rune and jukes away from the Sunstrike, as there was a teleport mid immediately cancelled. But right now, Windrunner is doing an extraordinary job just surviving all of these stuns. Chaos Knight has thrown down 3 or 4 stuns, and nothing has come of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you gotta keep in mind that sure, the Windrunner is not dying, but really a lot of more lane control is being dominated by the Radiant team. Another high ground ward being dropped on the mid lane. Alex is surviving, but she's not farming that well right now. 17 CS in 14 minutes.
Well, she's getting experience. She's almost level 7, so I think that's pretty good on a Windrunner. Less than 7 minutes in, and she's about to hit level 7 herself. That's pretty solid in my opinion, and looks like there's going to be a push on the top lane. They do have the armor creep, as well as some trolls summoning some skeletons, which can tank a turret, and they have the Liquid Fire up on Jakiro. Level 3 Liquid Fire, just foregoing Dual Breath, and they're just going to have very frequent Liquid Fire bursts onto that tower, really slowing down that tower attack speed, and this tower will not survive for much longer.
Yeah, Liquid Fire is actually very, very impressive, even as a harassing tool against enemy heroes, because if you actually get that one hit off, you're dealing about 15 pulses, or 15 damage per second for four pulses. So that's 60 damage right at level 2, and if you have the level 3, then it's upgrade to 80. Of course, their magical damage and could be reduced by hero resistance, but still, that's one physical attack dealing more than 100 damage. If you look at it like that, that's absolutely insane, and that's why we see a lot of Liquid Fire max nowadays. And here we go, the tier 2 is going to be under a little bit of fire us. There's absolutely no defense. There is a Quillbeast trying to slow down this army. But when you're facing against 4 range creeps, Liquid Fire, as well as trolls, it's not going to be easy. Back in the mid lane, the Reabsorb going in. And the Spitter is going to hit on Alex, but Alex should be fine. That tier 2 on top will not be fine. The creep wave has been drawn back, and looks like Void and the creeps will be tanking a little bit. Liquid Fire is coming off cooldown once again, and that should be the death of this tower.
Yep, looks like Alex taking a bunch of damage, gets Reality Rifted from a double damage Chaos Knight, so she takes the fall, but this bottom this top tier 2 tower will take the fall as well. So that was a good exchange overall for 4FC, and Void is getting so much farm, not going the Midas, is instead going the Battle Fury, has a Stout Shield as well, but he's going to build that Perseverance, go for the Battle Fury, and just become a farming monster. So right now, 4FC, they're getting the push going, and they have Void, one of the best late game carries in the game. But still, they aren't getting many kills, and Queen of Pain has not done anything at this point.
Yeah, Queen of Pain is one of those heroes that really requires a snowball effect to go on, and right now she's trapped between trees and Rubik. Gotta blink out, she does, and that is gonna put her out of telekinesis range. Good patience by Fragbite here, not blinking to her death. She's gonna be going for treads as well as having a no talisman. Just gonna focus on her early game item, early game survivability. I wonder whether she's gonna even put that level 6 into her Sonic Wave as Screen Paint isn't maxed out. Very curious also choice to actually max Shadow Strike or put 2 points into Shadow Strike here. That's something of a build that you see on solo mid frequently, but not something that you want to do against a a very, very offensive dual lane, as that slow is not really what you need to survive against that.
Yep, Void just harassing the Beastmaster with a couple of bashes can easily force Beastmaster back, and Jakiro's always there threatening the presence of that Ice Path and that Liquid Fire just to do immense amount of harassment. Meanwhile, this middle lane has barely been touched, and that's the problem with Out Edict, as Leshrac, does he still... No, he only got 1 point into Lightning, got 2 points back in Edict, and got 3 points in Splitter. So noticing that there's not going to be a dual lane mid, he just went back in Edict. Smart choice. But we'll see if they can actually utilize it, as there might be engagement. Splitter up the high ground. No, Edict is being casted instead, but this Jakiro just too fast at this point. And that's odd, because Jakiro is actually quite slow hero.
He's got a boots of speed, and that's enough to outrun the Leshrac. Chaos Knight is looking for the ganks. Queen of Pain is rotating in mid as well. She does have that point to the ultimate. Of course, there's Chronosphere as well. Twin Head Dragon is seen by the Observer on the high ground. Oh, here we go. Chaos Knight does have higher movement speed, and the drum charge even used for it, that's going to be a 2-second. Sunstrike and Splitter, and that Dragonite, he be dead. Oh, there's a great Shackle shot, and Queen of Pain will be coming in. Huge Sonic Wave, that's going to hit on Leshrac, but will it be enough? Chaos Knight has already went down. Leshrac will be going down as well. Splitter's not going to be casted. Alex should be fine getting out there. Is there any spell seal? No, Rubik not even level 6. Back on the high ground though, look at Krilly. He's putting a lot more pressure. Perseverance already finished, and one of the swords already can be picked up. Has to go for it. So just about 1450 away from finishing that Battle Fury. We're only 11 minutes in. He's got treads as well as Battle Fury almost completed. This is a very, very good sign for 4FC.
Yeah, right now 4FC does have about a 3.5k gold advantage. That's due in most part because of the towers. A little bit unfortunate in that last team fight, Chan actually put a very delayed Hand of God out to try to save the life of that, who got ganked? Jakiro got ganked. But unfortunately, Jakiro died before Chen could even get Hand of God, but they still got a nice kill there. Meanwhile, Rubik is level 6, has stolen the power shot, so a bit more nuke, but there's going to engage it on the bomb lane for Void. Void trying to backtrack as much as possible. Unfortunately, backtrack was not in his favor that time. Did take the fall as Leshrac manages to pick up the kill, so nice engagement to kill the Void, slow out his farm, and more importantly, keep him out of the game for the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, we're seeing the signs of the early game pressure being consulted by the Radiant squad. So many single target stuns, Beastmaster Roar being used, without any care, because the cooldown is just simply too short. And of course, Invoker has not left the bot lane at all. Generally, you see Exort Invoker starting to contribute.
Mid lane as Queen of Pain Jakiro takes the fall. Stun into Power Shot into Split Earth, and just melted that Jakiro in the moment of the instant, as his Ice Head melted and his Fire Head burst into flames. So very unfortunate, as it looks like ALX teleports very dangerously, is level 9, so she is doing quite well. We can see the levels, Invoker and Winter are level 9, so they're doing solid in that lane. As looks like Queen of Pain in a lot of trouble, very low HP. Can Invoker find her? Is going to pop the salve and gonna escape for now, but here comes a Void blinking in with the Chronosphere. Shadow Strike coming in as well. Sparta is going to take the fall. Ice Path coming in as well, but Void gets the last hit. Nicely done, and he definitely needed that gold boost after dying in that previous engagement.
Yeah, that really put him a little bit behind in terms of that Battle Fury fun. But he is going to be slowly trying to get that. I like the fact that the Dire team is keeping on their tower as expected. YR doesn't really have those kind of heroes to really push down tower. Leshrac is trying his best, but you really need to have Leshrac with the tower by himself for at least 20 seconds to mull it down, and he does not have that opening, simply because there's always a hero teleporting to those towers to defend that. Of course, Beastmaster has not been going for the aura. In fact, it is a call while maxed. really want to make sure that they do see where the enemy is coming from. And of course, if you look at the mini map, there's hawks, sentries, observers just absolutely everywhere. Both teams realizing map control is the most important thing in this game, where if you're not limited by big black hole cooldowns or ravage cooldown, it is so important to have sights because both team is fully capable of taking on engagement in any given moment.
Yeah, Void unfortunately has not been able to catch up to either his broadsword or his claymore. He went for strength trades instead to give him a bit more HP and survivability. Meanwhile, on the mid lane, what does Chaos Knight have? Has 69 last hits, and he has the drums as well as strength trades himself. As Chaos Knight managed to get a kill on the bot lane without using the haste rune. Was that a solo kill on the Queen of Pain?
Yeah, that was just a reality riff in, and a Chaos Bolt, Sunstrike coming in from afar, and a couple crits really helped it out, and Queen of Pain goes down yet once again. So Chaos Knight making his presence known, and it looks like he is looking to gank the mid lane as well. A couple of heroes, Sparta them being the most important one. He's been using nothing but Sunstrike, but keep in mind, he could pump out that Force Spirit in just a moment once he turns level 10 and puts that other point into Quas.
Yeah, right now net worth, Void has the highest net worth, but it looks like Radiant has a slight bit of more net worth on their side, even though they're behind in terms of towers. They're going to try to get a push going on that top lane. Winner desperately trying to power shot as much as possible. But here comes the push. Leshrac is he in position to drop the Edict, is dewarding himself. But here comes Chen, has finished the mechanism. So a lot of healing going to come in, 450 points of healing. That's going to be immense in this early game.
Yep, the Force Spirit is fighting out the Furbox War of Summons. I'm going to put my money on Chen summons as they're extremely tanky. Here's that Hawk though, that's gonna scout absolutely everything. But what they do know is that, ooh, nice Ice Path. As Ice Path now actually does do damage, it will kill that Hawk. But look at what Krilly is doing. He's just pushing the top lane very slowly, very patiently. He has the Observer Ward to his right, which will time out in just a moment, and he has the Teleport Scroll ready, so he could join the team fight. And I'm not too sure whether the Radiant team could actually push against the Chronosphere.
Yeah, looks like Queen of Pain is just going to be pushing the bottom lane as well, so they can't even get a tower, as Invoker's going to teleport right back, always has a Sunstrike, has finished the 4-stat, and looks like Rain, they do want to get this tower, they ping to try to kill it, as, no, that was the defense sign, saying to defend that. Looks like Ice Path comes in, catches 2 heroes, but no follow-up initiation, nobody at long range. As looks like Radiant are going to get pushed back slowly but surely, and that just leaves Void to keep farming up. And Void, of course, one of the scariest heroes in the late game, probably the scariest hero in the late game, just because of that Chronosphere. And the fact that Rubik, even if he steals Chronosphere, can't even slow him down. We'll have to just be careful if his allies get stuck in it, as Void can just go to town on them.
Yeah, don't be afraid though. I mean, don't get me wrong. Still stealing the Chronosphere against the Void is still very good because you will stun everybody else, which can be just as important. But yeah, you don't solve the immediacy of the problem, which is definitely the Void. But to that effect, I mean, again, you see how Beastmaster or Chaos Bow, good range stuns from a lot of heroes, so they should be fine. Looks like Leshrac has picked up Invis Rune, and this is going to be a go attempt on Strangby or on the Twin Hit. If anybody gets hit by a stun between Force Spirit as well as Sunstrike, they're going to be dead for sure. Here we go, Sparta. Just going to do mow down the creep. His position is very offensive, and I think that alone should give an idea to the Dire Squad that there is something fishy going on, because generally Invoker would not be putting himself so offensively.
Yeah, I mean, here comes Chen is going to try to D-ward as well. Just massive amount of Sentry Wards, as the support's just allowing that Observer Ward buff, have 50 more gold to spend on sentries, rather than get other items like boots and bracers, so that's a bit unfortunate for them, just buying more wards rather than other items. As slowly but surely those lava spawns doing some damage to that tower, but that tower is still quite healthy. And meanwhile, the mid tower pretty much at full HP, but there's a roar on ALX. Here comes the Sunstrike as well. Hand of God being used just on ALX, but he gets Reality Rift. Looks like Windrun is dodging so many of the attacks. Ice Path coming in, but unfortunately the Chaos Knight was not caught. Now Jakiro is in a bunch of trouble, gonna get Reality Rifted again. Jakiro dies as well, drop the Macro Pie, but now Chen is in for a world of hurt. Chaos Knight's coming in left and right, as here comes the Mechanism Heal quite late as Chen just arrived to the party, but Queen of Pain's gonna come back in. Queen of Pain managed to get a Sonic Wave killed onto the Leshrac. Void's gonna come in as well, trying to finish off the Rubik. Can he do so? It looks like Queen of Pain was trying to chase down Beastmaster, unable to do so, but Rubik, he's gonna get Chronosphere as well as the Chaos Knight. Chen creeps trying to maneuver themselves in position. Here comes Queen of Pain, gonna get the Shadow Strike off on the Chaos Knight before she gets Chaos Bolted. Chaos Knight doing actually immense amount of damage, but here comes the collapse. Nice macro by the Chen, and I think Chaos Knight will take the fall. So many TPs coming in. Meanwhile, Invoker does take the tower, and Chaos Knight's gonna live! Oh my god, the Time Walk hits, but you couldn't get the sight, but at least they're gonna get a tier 1 mid tower.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the teleportation came in way too late. The Hand of God and the Mech came in late as well. I think perhaps Twin Dragon would have survived if that Mech was dropped a little bit earlier. But here we go, Invoker in position. Beastmaster War, is it on cooldown? Just about a couple more seconds. Force that forward Sparta. Wants Krilly. Krilly will go jump out. The Definitely Blast not hitting. Splitter will miss as well. Oh no. I really thought they could have just been a little bit more patient and waited for the Beastmaster War. Whoa! Chen driving his lizard a little bit too forward. Got to be extremely careful. And looks like they're trying to build up a good momentum.
Oh, I think Rubik stole Ice Path, so that's going to be very good in terms of long-range initiation. Will he use it right now? He does use it, catches 2 heroes. Edict doing no damage. Well, he's doing a bit of damage to the tower, but he's just running around all over the place. As looks like Chen is going to be driven back. Roar is up. Will he use it? No, just Chaos Bolts are enough to kill. As here comes the immense mid-game power of UR to get themselves another tower kill in the middle lane. As looks like Void just trying to desperately get as much farm as possible. He knows without Chronosphere at this point in the game, he's pretty much useless. So he's just trying to farm as much as possible. But this middle tier 2 tower is in a lot of danger as Edict is going to fly in. Does Rubik stop Ice Path for the long range initiation? Does, and it's a level 2 Ice Path, so quite solid. As Chaos Knight doing a bunch of damage to that middle tier 2 tower will get denied. Invoker gets the last hit. Nice recovery by UR as they're looking a little bit shaky, but their mid game heroes are just so good.
Yeah, it's just really hard to stop once they have that momentum going. It's hard to run into this lineup with Chaos Bow from range, Beastmaster Roar from a range. Whoever runs in will be dead. And sure, you could just run in and you feed a couple of heroes if you know you have a Chaos.
Void is going to get Chaos Bolted on the bottom lane with Reality of Sunstrike. Did disperse damage, but Void's just going to time lock out, and that's going to interrupt his farm at the very least. But go on, Luminous. Sorry I cut you off.
I mean, no, it's completely fine. Thank you for keeping a good track on the action. Yeah, it's just really hard to actually jump in. And if you do jump in, that's fine if you have the Void Chronosphere backup. They did not have it during that team fight. So because of that, another tower goes down. So this goes back to what we talked about previously. When you have a team that's somewhat reliant on AoE ultimates against a team that can fight whenever they want to, whenever they sense any type of cooldown weakness, they will just go for those towers. Normally, you can see teams defending almost to the death for that tier 2 mid because for Roshan purposes, one of the most important tower in the entire game. But they just had to give up because Void was not combat worthy.
Yeah, it's a bit odd because the rating are up for 4 kills, but the experience graph is pretty much even. But luckily for the Radiant, they are catching up in terms of the gold graph. And looks like Dire have placed where they want to go for the Roshan. Does Radiant realize? Looks like they do not have an inkling of what's going on. Winter just staying back, constantly power shotting, and looks like Queen of Pain pushing on the top lane as well. Gonna go for an Aghanim Scepter, just get that spammable ultimate, do huge amounts of damage in AoE. But this Roshan taking quite a while to take down. They do not have too much physical damage to keep down that Roshan, but it looks like Radiant, they have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure though if it could do it quick enough. No, they can. Windrunner is power shotting enough. Very, very interesting choice here for Krilly to go straight into a Yasha, I imagine, as well as a Manta style. So he really boosts his DPS. I'm a bigger fan of the Mask of Madness, but perhaps in this particular game, you don't want to go for it, considering that if you get roared or stunned during that Chronosphere, you might even die within your Chronosphere since he's extremely squishy, whereas the Manta style gives him an extra layer of survivability with the mirror image, as well as some very, very decent attack speed through that agility gain. So that's the item that he is going for, and that Aegis will help him to play extremely aggressive without Chronosphere being spent in that Roshan engagement, or the lack of Roshan engagement, if you will. I feel like the Dire team could make a big push down the mid lane and start to claim back the tower lead that they had before.
Keep in mind that the Aegis is only up for 6 minutes, so there's going to be a span of 4 minutes where Void will not have the Aegis regardless. So that is something to keep in mind. And Chaos Knight has finished the Black King bar. This Chaos Knight usually... Chaos Knight has a bit of trouble if he doesn't get kills, he sort of slows down, but this Chaos Knight has had a pretty big impact. 22 minutes in the game, drums BKB without he has over 100 CS, so he's getting enough farm as well. So they're going to have to really rely on this Chaos Knight to carry them to victory, otherwise Void will just rip through him with that Chronosphere, which does go through BKB.
Yeah, BKB is a very, very bold item choice in a sense, as it doesn't do too much against the Faceless Void. What it does give the option to is for him to charge right in against 4 other heroes and basically drive them back and force the Chronosphere to really go on him, in which case Beastmaster War will back him up. But look at this offensive dive into the enemy jungle on the smoke. Who are they going to be going for? Observer
Oh,
Ward.
Dire had a sentry ward right there, so they scouted out the entire movement. Looks like Queen of Pain blinks back in the nick of time. Shackle Strike coming in does not latch on anything, but that's going to push them back to the tower. Invoker managed to pick off Queen of Pain with a nicely placed Sunstrike. Did not even see how that hit, but really nice timing by Invoker as he gets the tower as well. Queen of Pain for free and a tower. Man, that's pretty good. 2 for nothing.
Crilly goes in right now on the bot lane here, and looks, his Sunstrike, oh no, he's cold snap. I mean, he's gonna try to jump out, but he can't really jump out. Now he's gonna jump to the right side here as he does. Oh, he does not have a teleport scroll. He cancels TP on the tier 2 tower. I'm not sure exactly why he canceled it, but should be fine as more teleport scroll will be delivered to him. He is gonna be okay. Tier 2 will be protected through that. He's gonna jump out more, but the blink of YRX or DX trying to chase in for that telekinesis did not get that one off.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of good kind of blink spells that Rubik could steal. The blink from Queen of Pain as well as a time walk. So Rubik, if he's ever in doubt of needing a blink spell, all he has to do is click on one of those heroes and he will find one.
Yeah, Void, keep in mind he only has 2 spells, and if he doesn't steal Chronos here, he will just steal Time Walk. So, hey, click on Void, automatically steal a solid enough spell in order to get away or set up his team. So, pretty good, pretty good. As Chaos Knight just lurking in the shadows, just saying, I want to spread a bunch of chaos all over the side of the enemy team. But Shen, only 875 HP, is going to have to be very careful. The Hawk is scanning out with the Shockwave. What a Shockwave by the creep, manages to kill the Hawk. So Chen gets a nice, big, hefty bounty on that Scout Hawk. So he's going to be quite pleased with that, just saying, hey, more money to buy Sentry Wards.
So sad for the Hawks, like a stray bullet just caught him as he's trying to do his own thing.
He was caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, man. Void on the bot line here, only 600 HP. Keep in mind that the Sunstrike does pure damage, so if it's not touched by the backtrack at least, it is going to do a significant number to Clearly, a single Beastmaster setup is going to be enough. He does have the backup of Strangby though, so that's why they're playing so offensive. Chronosphere has not been spent just yet, and if Invoker pops his out too much, a Chronosphere and a Sonic Wave will do him in. He's got to be extremely careful, and you can see that that's why he's in the trees. But look at the farm on this Invoker. 4 Sap and Scythe of Vice already finished. We're only 25 minutes in, guys. He's mad farm.
This brings back bad memories of Nova in our game, as he got like a ridiculous fast, and I felt bad for that because I lane against him. But there's gonna be a Hex onto Curly, takes meteor damage, but dodges a lot of it. Hand of God gonna fly in as well. Looks like they're gonna get a counter gank onto the Invoker. Pops Chronosphere. This is gonna be well worth it. Gonna use Chronosphere, just get the heck out of there. But with a lot of reinforcements, will they get out of there at all? They might be staying a little too long, but no, they're gonna get out of there right now. And Invoker revealing his Hex did not get a kill. That's a bit unfortunate. Could not even burn the Aegis. How much left is on that Aegis? Only about 2 more minutes, so Void, his timing is going to be going down very soon, but hey, at least he got a kill.
I think even if he doesn't use that Aegis Immortal, as he might just do it right now, is playing very, very aggressively. Beastmaster War is going to be dropped on Krilly. There's a mech coming in here on the Beastmaster, and there's going to be stun, and there's an Aegis being used. He is going to respawn back with full mana, and look at Yapzo, he just does not care. Crits Queen of Pain just for fun, and looks like the team Void out, and the slow, but the telekinesis backwards.
Oh, he picked up Manta Style. Courier delivered him Manta Style. He can use that in order to escape if he has to. Will use it. He does use it, but don't think. Oh, it's doing a bunch of damage. But Lashrak just does huge amounts of damage with that Edict and Pulse Nova. There's a bunch of reinforcements. The Queen of Pain completely out of mana, and Jakiro was a little bit too slow. But yeah, that Manta Style, he did split, but Lashrak just managed to tear right through them with that Pulse Nova and that Edict.
Yeah, I was just about to say that even though if he did not use the Aegis, he would have been fine, would have been happy about it because he had enough time to farm up for that Manta Style, but definitely used the Aegis as well as his life as he just got changed then by a whole bunch. And again, maybe it is correct to go for a Black King Bar in this game, for at least for that Void. As even though the Void, the Beastmaster will still go through it, it just blocks a whole bunch of other stuns as well as magical damage, which the Radiant team is, they have a huge number of.
Yep, as lag is the call. I think the Jordanian team UR are playing in a LAN cafe, so I guess it's just going to be YR. God. Dang,
I think
YR.
I called them UR like twice.
I did. Too. YR, they are playing in a LAN cafe in Jordan, so I'm sure if one person's lagged, they're all lagging, so that's a bit unfortunate for them. But yeah, just doing a quick item check. We can see BKB up on the Chaos Knight. He's had it for a while. Scythe device, like Lumi said, has been up. Winner has had the 4-step for a while. Queen of Pain still no Aghanims just yet, so that's a bit unfortunate for them. Jakiro trying to build a 4-step, but only level 8. He even though he's naturally tanky, only a level 8 Jakiro, that's going to hurt considering he has no points to dual breath. So once he drops his Ice Bath, he's pretty much not doing much damage in these fights at all. Or he got
in exchange to have a more farm Chen. They gave most of the EXP to Chen, and he does have that second level of Hana God. But to be honest, if I could choose between a level 11 Chen and a level 11 Jakiro, I'll go with the Jakiro.
me as well, just because Jakiro naturally tanky, and those nukes, Dual Breath is one of the better nukes in the game because it's AoE, it slows and it does damage over time. It's pretty strong. The only drawback is that short range. Meanwhile, Void, if he does respawn, he will have Chronosphere, but I think this top tier 2 tower will take the exchange. And this tower, considering that the middle tier 2 tower is dead as well, very important in terms of Roshan control, but Roshan won't be back for at least 5 more minutes.
Yeah, in terms of gold and EXP, fairly even. There's a slight gold lead towards the Dire side, although that might change quickly, considering that this tower is about to go down. I don't think any team has a particular huge advantage. Generally, when you have a Void and it's going sort of late game, you want to say the Void has a lead. But I feel like if the Radiant team could play well enough to not get caught by a 3 or 4 man chrono, they should be fine. They have more than enough stun. They have a huge window opportunity until that Void picks up a BKB. They're absolutely fine in terms of multiple ways of locking down. Again, Split Earth, Chaos Bolt, Beastmaster War, Telekinesis, and whatever spell that Rubik steals, as well as the barrage of spells that Invoker has, and a Scythe of Ice. I mean, they have multiple ways to lock down that Void. He could just drop a Chrono and just die within that Chrono. All they have to do is have good positioning, knock down a couple more towers, and lock the game away before BKB's finish on Void.
Alright, since you're a support player, and, you know, Chen, one of the best support heroes in the game, just gonna pick your brain on this matter for a little bit. What do you think about Chen having 115 CS? I mean, it's all neutrals for the most part, but that is a lot of creep kills going the way of Chen. And he has not been on the ball, he has not been able to teleport in, get a mechanism off. Chen has pretty much just been AFK farming the jungle, so what do you think about that decision in order to farm this Chen so very much?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's a solo decision. I think it's most likely a team decision. The time that we saw him push was the tier 1 and tier 2 tower on the top lane, and they got those ones very, very quickly. But since then, it's been a defensive farming war. Void was farming very, very aggressively towards the enemy sides of the map. But for everybody else, Queen and Pain in particular, Windrunner, they just want to get up a lot of items. And when everybody's farming, Chen just hits the jungle and he's farming as well. So I guess it's actually a plus side to the fact that I don't think he's stealing creeps from his carries. But with so much farm on Chen, I'm not sure whether I personally like it. He's not a hero that could use farm that well, at least not the way that he's doing it. If you're going to go for farm Chen, you go for that, Hana God upgrade on the Acceptor, or maybe even get a Vlad for Void, or get something really game-changing. He just has a mech, and, you don't need a farm Chen to have that mech.
That's true. Considering
He does have the Vlads. Okay, just kidding. He does have the Vlads on the courier. It has not been delivered yet. So that's why his net worth is currently a little bit lower than it should be with 115 creep kill. And yes, I'm happy to see that there is a Vlads, because there's quite a bit of right-click damage. A +5 armor aura is going to be great, as well as a lifesteal that Void's going to be getting. It's going to be huge because he isn't going to Mask of Madness, and we would need some lifesteal to benefit it from him.
Yeah, how do you draw on the minimap? I'm a scrub.
Control.
How do you like draw things on? Like,
you can't do it. You can't do it while you can't draw on the ground during pauses.
Oh, I'm sad.
I think he draws on the minimap.
Well, look at Windrunner where she's at. Those guys are just like, soon, Windrunner.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the Fragbite THOR Open Qualifier number 2. This is semifinals first match of Team 4IC and UR, as Luminous correctly, or God, YR.
Just read it as it is. It's not an acronym. It's not a.
Well, U starts with A, with a Y, and Y starts with a W. So I'm just.
The team is just called YR, and they just wrote the WHYARE because it's like a joke.
Man, Luminous educating me on the English alphabet. I feel so ashamed of myself. But yeah, this is the first match of the semifinals. Winner this will play no Tidehunter in the grand finals. My co-caster is the illustrious Luminous, which is sort of a double positive. So, shoutouts to Luminous. And we are from DotaCommenters.com, so yeah, go.
Double positive is good.
Yep, double positive is good.
More positive, the better. Double negative is sometimes good.
All I can say is my Batrider was always positive.
Dang.
So, yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, just gonna wait on this pause as apparently the computer has been crashed. Hopefully we won't have too many more delays as it's already 2:10, which means it is 11:10, and we've yet to finish the first match of best of 3. So, come on, guys.
Been a long day, man.
Yep.
It's okay. I got my breakfast next to me. I'll slowly mince on it as this game progresses. Why don't you talk about something?
How's the weather?
No, why don't you talk about something, Sagi?
I'll talk about myself because that's what I love to do most. So I'm B-Ballin. I'm a caster for DotaContes.com. Check me out on YouTube, BBallin773, Facebook, BBallin773, Twitter, BBallin773. Check out Luminous at twitch.tv/LuminousInverse, YouTube.com/LuminousInverse, Luminous Inverse at all the places, so check him out as well. DotaContes.com, a lot of commentaries. Probably going to pump out more soon as Luminous took a little bit of a break after TI3. But they do a Dota show with LD, which I joined for...
TI2.
TI2. Ah, man. I already think ahead with our team joining TI3. So, yeah. But Luminous and LD do a show called the Dota Show where they teach people how to play Dota better and analyze a bunch of stuff. Learning with Lumi will be back next Monday. The trivia will be Sunday, and I'll be joining Lumi on Thursdays for Throwback Thursdays, where we look at Dota 1 games and troll audience by giving them wrong replays in order to cast. So, yeah, just
not on purpose.
Yeah. Anyway, when I cast with Lumi, I like to have a good time. So hopefully you guys are finding us. We're a bit more educational than usual, but we're trying to keep it professional.
What? How are we educational at all?
This game, we're mad professional.
Okay.
Dang.
The only time it was not professional was when Windrunner is about to be gotten. That picture by those guys. Yo. I did not even notice that until you pointed it out, but okay.
They're scary, dude. They're gonna kill you. Yeah, still waiting. Hopefully, we'll get right back into this very, very soon. But if not, then whatever. Has not really too much we can do. Invoker, 90 gold in the bank. Does he have anything on the cart? He does not. What did he just finish? Did he just die? Well, I don't know. Maybe he just finished the arcane boots. Not too sure. Probably picked up a TP. But anyway, Chaos Knight has reconnected. The push is going to commence. Void is still dead. As Lesh is going to call go, so hopefully we'll get right back into this game. Lesh does not have too much mana, only enough for Edict and a couple pulses of that Pulse Nova. So that may be a bit troubling. Not too much mana, but they do have one Arcane Boots on the Invoker. So we'll see if 4FC can mount a successful defense. Ice Path complete whiffs everything, only hits a couple of creeps, so that's a bit unfortunate, but here comes the Tornado. Most annoying creep in the game by far. So annoying, but they're going to kill this tower regardless, just saying, screw your Tornado. But hey, Void's going to respawn, going to hold it off, and looks like they're just going to back up.
Yeah, all they have to hold is for that crucial 20 seconds until Void is back, and he will have Chronosphere ready. No fight on the bot lane, that means Void's going to eat a juicy creep wave on top. The item that he should be going for, as I was stressing, is Black Game Bar, even though it's pierced through by the Beastmaster Roar, is still very, very invaluable to block just about everything else. And at this point in the game, because there's so much lockdown and there's so much control on YR's squad, I think they should go for big smoke ganks after knocking down this tower. But should they want to take a fight under the tower, though, they're very, very persistent here. I'm not sure if this is a choco you want to fight, because there is a teleportation. That's from Void, and here we go. Let's see how many he gets in the chrono.
Ice Path used randomly, I guess just try to kill the Hawk, which I think he did so as another pause comes in. But Queen of Pain has finished the Aghanims, already used it, but hey, it has 3 more seconds cooldown. Keep in mind, low 16, 40-second cooldown, but right now it's only a level 2 ultimate, so it has a 70-second cooldown. So he has an Aghanim, or she has an Aghanim, so that could be useful. Was not in there in the last pause, as looks like the resume is immediately called, and they're just going to back up, as they know that Void had not used his teleport in order to farm the top lane, which is something that scrubs like me do forget, as looks like they're going on the courier. Hey, a tower for free pretty much.
Man, so many birds dying to stray bullets this game. As Krillly very happy with that kill. Now has another item purchase. It is gonna be a Ogre Club, so it is gonna be a blocking bar. Good to see. And this is some anti-mage-esque jumping into camps after camps with this time walk to go for more farm. Still very curious to see not the Vlad's not being picked up on the Chen yet. There you go. Everybody gets their own item, and I think it's time to set up for the Roshan fight. Very, very important for Void to hold on that Chronosphere, or at least pick one up, pick a couple of people off shortly before. And looks like he is.
Chen places a Central, then immediately 2 Law response and a pig come in and just say, no, you are not allowed to do that. And then they kill the Observer. Yeah, that pig is mad scary. As Void, quite a long cooldown on that Tomahawk, at least in comparison to Anti-Mage Blink, has a little bit longer range, but you can't farm nearly as fast as an Anti-Mage, and Anti-Mage does have a better base attack animation. So Queen of Pain completely out of mana, but looks like Rain, they're a little bit concerned at this point. Looks like they're trying to get more farm. They want to get some damage upon the Chaos Knight. Looks like he might just be setting up for a heart.
I'm not sure whether farming your way against Void is good. Their lockdown is great already, and I think it's gonna only get weaker as the game progresses, as there's more, force staffs on the enemy side, there's more mechs and or more healing, more HP, particular enemy side. I think they gotta just go for pickoff right now before Void gets that blocking bar. And they're just farming. I think this is a strategical mistake by YR, but let's see if they could make something happen. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this.
Wouldn't be the first time. Oh, snap. It's okay. I'm wrong more than you. Anyway, as Dire, they're just content to farm up. Like I said, Void, probably the scariest late game hero in the game with that backtrack, which is now maxed. He's level 16, so 100-second cooldown on the ultimate. Should be up for every major team fight. Can even use it for a gank if they are in position for the creepy equilibrium. Chaos Knight just knows he has to get the heck out of there. Chaos Knight, 3,500 gold in the bank, but their courier is still dead. I don't know if that courier had anything on it. As looks like the Dire, they smoked up, but Radiant, they had an idea. As Void is just gonna not farm for a bit, and that's a little bit unfortunate for him. But Roshan's about to respawn in about 20 seconds, and that's where we're gonna see the major engagement.
Yep. Void.
Ooh, Heaven's Halberd. Dang.
Heaven's Halberd as picked up here. This is a very, very great choice. If the BKB is not up, I mean, it just means another way to lock down on the Void.
Well, you can Mantis Style split it.
Yeah, you can Mantis Style split it, and of course, BKB is going to be it's going to be a good utility-based item. Of course, it does give him a lot more strength to work with. His Phantasm is going to get slightly better. It's not a game-breaking item. I don't like the choice in particular. I think Heart is still better, but it's something. It's an item that you could have an immediate benefit. Heart takes forever to get, whereas this one it's quick, and you could take it into the team fight. And perhaps they are just waiting for that before making kind of big engagement. They are all clumped up in the jungles, perhaps looking for a smoke usage.
Yep, that looks to be the case. As Rubik has picked up the smoke, they are going to smoke up with they're waiting for it. Blue to come in, they're going to smoke up. No ward spotting them out, so here comes the smoke. One thing that is important to notice is that the illusions from Chaos Knight, the Phantasm, do benefit from the evasion and strength, so it is quite good on Chaos Knight, as there's going to be a giant conglomeration of heroes onto that Void. Anybody to reinforce Chen. Looks like he might be in the right place at the right time, but Void is just going to get the heck out of there. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain, that top tier, or that top lane constantly being pushed, but that tier 3 tower is not taking too much damage, and looks like this tier 2 tower might take the fall. Clearly, he's out of position, as is the Chen. This might be a huge mistake, as Void immediately uses Time Lock, has to use the Chronosphere, is not going to do anything with it. That's going to be a huge win right there for the Rain. It looks like Windrunner is going to get Hex. Rubik stole the Chronosphere, just uses it on the Windrunner, so that's going to be a small victory, and they still have the Roar, but keep in mind, 100-second cooldown on that Chronosphere.
Great smoke gang, forces out the Chronosphere, didn't get the kill on the Void, but it just might as well be as good, because without the Chrono, that's a free push, and that's immediately being sensed by YR. Great recognition by the fact that they don't need to farm anymore. All they really need is go for a pickoff, and that's exactly what YR is showing us right now. The drum being used, Winter buys back, but no afraid. You can see that YR is still standing there. They know that without the Chrono, they're not going to be afraid too much. Comes Twin Head Dragon Shackle Shot, not going to be latching here, and there's a Tornado being summoned by that Wildgun trying to slow everybody down, but clearly it's gonna get roared up. Where's the Hand of God? It's gonna come in right now. Let's track very, very low. So is the Chaos Knight. Huge chaos happening. They want somebody to be killed. Krillin being focused. He's gonna go down. That BKB being immense right now. Running around is that Chaos Knight. He finds Strangby. Where's the follow-up? Son of the Strike has went down. Chen doing the right click on the background here. It looks like the high ground will not be broken. Everybody very, very low. Looks like the Invoker will turn around. His Hex coming off cooldown in just a moment. Yapzor still very low. Chaos Bolt is gonna get dodged. And I think it is gonna be a successful defense. And that was a huge moment for 4FC. Void is still dead though. Do they want to force more? I
don't know. 15 seconds up on that Chronosphere. They might realize that they might want to push in, try to get it, but they are quite low in terms of HP. Any mechanism, no mechanism. Their mechanism carrier.
There's no mech on the team.
There's no mech on the team. No, there is one. Just kidding.
There you go.
Beastmaster has it. Of course Beastmaster has it, as we are too scrubbed to see that apparently. But Void, he's going to respawn very, very soon. Do the Dire have a glyph? They do have a glyph, so that's another 5 seconds of glyphing up.
But they do have Chrono back up on the Rubik.
Well, they could catch the Rubik in the Chrono, as looks like Chaos Knight gets shackled. Here comes a Hex onto the Queen of Pain, or the Chen, as she has his ultimate. Looks like Sonic Wave was used. No, Sonic Wave was not used, as Rain pick off the tower. They're just going to back off, trying to get more map control for the imminent Roshan attempt, because he is back. And looks like Rain, they want a piece of that. But keep in mind, Void has the Chrono. Hand of God cooling down in about 30 seconds. So Dire, they can take a team fight very, very soon. And Leshrac, he's about to get back in position. But hey, a double damage rune could mean wonders.
Yeah, a good push by YR. It was just not enough good defense here from 4FC as well. They need to do that one more time. Get for a pick off, get the Creequilibrium, and go for some offensive smoke. And sight, it becomes a huge thing here as everybody's standing right next to that one Sentry Ward. Thankfully, Sentry Ward doesn't give too much sight, but that Observer Ward does, though. It sees everything. And now Sparta and his team will all run back. You don't want to get caught by Void Chrono. And at this point, let's check out how Queen of Pain is doing. She has a Guinsu, or seriously, not Guinsu, has the Scepter already finished for a long time, and it's going to be working on a Scythe of Ice, or Guinsus, depending on what era of Dota you're playing.
Yep, she's about to hit that level 16 very soon, and that's going to be very important for the Aghanim Scepter cooldown and the Aghanim Scepter damage, increasing the damage by almost 200. Pretty immense, but this is going to be the Q4 Roshan attempt, as Queen of Pain is going to teleport back to the Dire, fully known, as they have Sentry Wards and Wards all over the place, but will they manage to get in their power shots, scouting out all the while? Can they kill this Roshan? I don't know if they can kill it fast enough, as Alacrity on the Chaos Knight, like you mentioned, such a good combo. They are trying to get this at the very least, but it looks like Roshan, he has another say in this. He's just going to bash down the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight has to back up, just stalling that Roshan, being a hero for the Dire at this stage. Just keeping up those bashes. Lava Spawn's trying to do as much damage as possible. This Roshan will fall, but who's going to take it? Alacrity's being popped. Chaos Knight is going to try to man it down, but here comes the Chronosphere. Are they going to focus on the Roshan? Will they hex it? Krillin is hexed, but here comes the Sonic Wave, doing huge damage. Chaos Knight picks up the Aegis Immortal, and that is immense. It looks like Void manages to time walk out of there in the nick of time. Leshrac trying to pulse as much damage, but Invoker picks off Void. That is really strong play, as Chaos Knight respawns with full HP. Gonna go on the Jakiro. Jakiro takes the fall. Void's dead. Jakiro's dead. Only thing going for them, as Queen of Pain is still out. Chen is going to take the fall as well. He's just going to run around in circles, as they're just going to stall for now. Smart play, as keep in mind, Queen of Pain is pushing the creep wave all the while. Nice recognition by Queen of Pain, being a ghetto nature's prophet once again, as he's going to be able to start the push and might even get a tower. He's going to get a tower for free. Chen buys back, and looks like, man, why are they going to have to go for mid lane? But keep in mind, Void will respawn in 35 seconds. Do they have the glyph? They do not. So this will mean at least Rax Void is dead for too long.
Void's back in 35 or 28 now, but he's not really back till he has that Chronosphere. So it's gonna be legitimately 40 more seconds until they can do anything. But Queen of Pain does have that Sonic Wave, so they could at least blow one huge ultimate, slow down this push by just a tiny bit. Of course, Twin-Head Dragon with Macro Pie could do something as well, but gotta be very careful. Ice Path is gonna slow this one down. Are we gonna use a Sonic Wave to defend this? Strangby says no. We're not using anything, but the Rax is gonna be in big trouble.
Void is alive, as he's only 15 gold short of the BKB. He's gonna jump in onto the Chaos Knight. Krillin gonna take a bunch of damage. No, are they gonna focus on the Rax? Rax not being. It's gonna be focused on by Invoker. Here comes the Ice Path. Yapzor taking huge amounts of damage, but as is Krillin. Looks like Krillin was able to escape in the nick of time. Yapzor trying to escape. He does escape. They managed to last hit the Rax, so they managed to get that at the very least. But here comes a nice Chronos here by the Rubik, as his cooldown actually came off first. Krillin creeps a couple times, gets the Rubik, gonna kill Rubik with a vengeance, as looks like Leshrac is gonna take the fall. Will he kill Chen? No, he does not. They lost 3. They lost the Aegis for a mid-Rax. Was that worth it, Lumi?
I think the Aegis was lost during the pit as Chaos Knight took it
Oh,
and immediately
you are
got
right.
killed.
You
But
are right.
yeah, I think it's completely worth it. They might lose a tier 2. I don't think they'll lose anything beyond that. They still have the glyph. Oh my goodness, Sunstrike kill from the Invoker out of nowhere. Invoker, by the way, up to about 6,000 gold. So I
My
wonder
God.
what item he is going to be going for. Invoker is already in very much so uncharted territory. A lot of times game is already over by this point, but things like Acceptor is always good on Invoker. But I think you need something more special. Curly is doing a significant amount of damage to this tier 2 tower, and tier 3 tower is going to be defended, in my gem, by the barrage spells that Invoker could bring out. Definitely Blast, Tornado, all that stuff.
Keep in mind, Void finally has his VKB, and this could be huge for 4FC. It is huge for 4FC, but he has to be careful not to use his BKB defensively. He has to be in position. So often we see that 10-second BKB charge just used very defensively, as that is not the way that Void wants to go. And Queen of Pain's about to finish the Hex, so 4FC about to get crucial items up very, very soon. This could get them back in the game, as we can just take a look at the graphs. Looks like the experience graph is slightly in favor of the Reign. The goal graph so very close at this stage in the game. Keep in mind, they still have Void, one of the best hard carries in the game, and they can still very much win this, as Windrunner closing in on her Hex as well. They're about to get 2 Hexes. This could be huge.
Yeah, and being down 1 Rex doesn't actually mean too much in this particular game. You're not playing against a Prophet or Tinker that has a global nature of push. It's going to be all traditional pushers, and to be honest, Queen of Pain and Void with their massive AoE creep clearing abilities, they're going to be fine against this. Cypher Vice number 1 is already picked up on the Windrunner. Cypher Vice number 2, it's already picked up on Strangby. I think they could actually take this fight on the top lane. In fact, they don't even need to take a negative tier 2. In fact, the entire 4FC squad, I think they have held long enough to that critical moment, and they're going to be fine. Krilly has a pair of tangles that he picked off the ground. Yeah, Christmas gift.
Man, if he was against a Nature's Prophet, that would actually be sort of useful, but as is for now, he's just gonna use those, regen up. Yeah, 16 regen per second, as he's gonna go back to Fountain anyway. He does have buyback. We're gonna take a look at the buyback status. You can see Queen of Pain does not have buyback, but Chaos Knight, Invoker, Void, the important heroes on the Reign, do have buyback. So Beastmaster does as well, so that is something going in favor of Rating. As Hasted Chaos Knight running in with the Heaven's Halberd, will they get anything accomplished with this? Looks like YR, I almost call them UR again. They know that their timing is starting to come to a close. They only managed to get 1 middle Rax, so they want to try to end this right now. But this double Scythe device could be extremely difficult for them to face against.
Yeah, you can see that Rubik has picked up a Blink Dagger, and he is looking to dodge that Chronosphere and then to take a Chronosphere back. Not exactly to lock down Void, but at least provide some assistance to make sure that their team is not dying to the Macro Power or Sonic Wave, and lock the other heroes down. And looks like with this tower down on the bot lane, they're trying to work on the high ground. Yapzor in the front, so is the Leshrac. Leshrak's got to be very careful. He's got himself a Sage as well as a point booster. Gonna be going for a Heaven's Outbreak as well. Evasion is their way to victory, as it seems. Spirit's gonna hit on Krilly. Krilly does not have natural lifesteal, so he's got to be standing next to a Chen to get any of that. And Chen doesn't want to stand near nobody right now.
Keep in mind, Queen of Pain was pushing that top lane, so that tower is going to take some damage at the very least. So Rain, they might have to make their move very soon unless they want to go back and defend and allow Void to farm up even more, which they definitely don't want to do. So what will they do? Are they waiting on any items? Beastmaster still has the same items he has of Vlad's at the very least. AC is up on Invoker. Dang, that is a farmed Invoker. They're going to go in, BKB used by the Chaos. Gonna go and catches the Leshrac, catches 3 heroes, Invoker just on the edge. What a Chronosphere by Void. Void uses the Chronosphere of Rubik's to his advantage, just bashing left and right. He does get the time lock bonus. This BKB being absolutely huge for the Dire. They're gonna get 2 kills as immediate buyback. Chen is gonna take the fall at the very least. Looks like Yapzor somehow was not affected by that at all. Just doing huge amounts of damage himself, so Yapzor is going to turn this fight around for the Reign. Clearly going to take a bunch of damage. He does have buyback, I think. He should buy back. He's going to buy back. He's going to go back in there, but this bottom Rex is going to take a bunch of damage. Does the Dire have a glyph? They do. They're going to use it right now. They're going to get right back in there, but keep in mind, BKB is down. Here comes Clearly. Can he manage to get some kills? Looks like they're going to try to go on the Beastmaster to pick off Yapzor as well. Void is going to go after the Chaos Knight. Can he get the pursuit going? Oh man, there's the Hex, and Yapzor's going to take the fall. Huge defense by the Dire. Man, that Chronosphere catching the Invoker on just the tip. Just the tip, that's all it needed.
That was one of the better Chronosphere I've seen, and unfortunately, I think YR, they had the melee racks. They were chasing heroes left and right. If Chaos Knight sent any of his illusions, just focus on the racks. Sure, they lost a couple of heroes, but a second lane of racks would really have sealed the deal. Perhaps it was just a moment of lack of concentration. Whatever that was, I think is a huge blunder in this particular game. They have to make that push one more time. And then that next time, I'm not sure whether that Rubik could get off as good of a counter chrono as he did. I mean, he stole the chrono, blinked in, and basically stunned everybody else. Krillly dropped to solo right after his chronosphere ended. But that chrono was absolutely huge. So it grabbed 4 people on the enemy team, and Invoker on the tip, like you talked about. More importantly, he grabbed the Beastmaster, as that was the only person that could take the BKB Faceless Void out of commission.
Queen of Pain might be in a bit of trouble. 4-staff in, as Blink Dagger Rubik could not get in position. As Invoker, if he manages to get out of the Chronosphere this time, Void will most certainly be trying to focus him and the Beastmaster like you said, but keep in mind they were doing without Invoker damage for that most of that team fight. If they had the Invoker there, I think they could have won that team fight. So there is small hope for YR, and will they go? They're trying to pick off Roshan. He's still about a minute and a half, 2 minutes away, but it looks like they're going to creep up. Chronosphere is back up. Chaos Knight Phantasm is back up as well, so all the ultimates, such short cooldowns at this stage in the game, will be back up for every single team fight, so we're going to see the teams fight at their absolute best. Queen of Pain, meanwhile, just pushing the top lane over and over, 3.2k gold in the bank, as Invoker does not have buyback. Chaos Knight, did he buy back in that game? He did not buy back, so he still has buyback himself. So right now, it's pretty even, but I don't know if YR want to keep turtling this out.
Yeah, YR still wants to go push at this point, and that Ghetto Nature's Prophet, that Queen of Pain, is really providing us such amount of nuisance. And sooner or later, they got defend, but the team front breaks out in the mid lane here. Krillly's going to focus on Leshrac. Where's the Beastmaster Roar? Again, offensive chrono, defensive chrono, whatever you want to call that. Alex gets picked up in the air. Invoker trying to get the right click. There's a hand of God. Blinking. Hex against Invoker. Serious on the way. Whiffs. Krillly still doing big damage. He gets 1 kill. Krillly looking at it. Krillly's going to jump back out. Meanwhile, Strangby blinks away against the illusions of Yapzor. They see Chen. They want Chen. 4-staff backwards. Ice Path slowing everybody down. And that is going to be a successful retreat. Queen of Pain now goes back to the top lane to do more Ghetto Nature Prophet work to push that one in. And suddenly, I think YR, they are really out of gas. They need to push. They cannot push against that Queen of Pain. They are just being outplayed, I feel like.
Man, that was so weird because Void, he focused on Leshrac the entire time, and after the Chronosphere Lash ended, Leshrac did survive. Beastmaster immediately roared Void, and I thought Chaos Knight might have been able to tear through, but I think Queen of Pain is just becoming a huge problem. Where's that Invoker in that team fight? I did not see him do nearly as much work.
He got scythed.
Ah, I see. So that might be a huge problem. Double sights, they will do that to you. And Ice Path, man, such a good spell. In conjunction with that Macro Power, Jakir was level 8 for so long, level 14 now, is tied for the lowest level, and looks like Void is going to go in. Can the Dire even approach? Chronosphere is up in 20 seconds, such a short cooldown at this stage in the game. Void's going to go in. Does he have the Butterfly? Almost has the Butterfly, but what's his buyback cooldown? He has buyback in about a minute, so we'll see if he decides to finish or will he decide to save up. But the Radiant, they don't want to give up this Roshan. It is a cheese Roshan. Ice Path being immediately used on the Chaos. Keep in mind, Crosshair just came up. Rubik is going to blink in as Radiant took the Aegis, but it looks like Yapzor, Faceless Void snatching the Aegis Immortal. Yapzor got stunlocked for a lot of that duration. Sparta is the first one to take the fall. Aegis immediately being used as, no, that was a Roshan timer. Krillly versus Yapzor. Yapzor is going to win this fight, but Krillly has the Aegis. 1 for 1. They killed the Invoker at the very least. Leshrac is going to take the fall as well. Can Krillly blink out of there, or will he go back in for the team fight? He's going to go right back in for Yapzor with the help of Windrunner. So many time locks, man. Permabash onto that Chaos Knight. Void is going to clean up, and now I think 4FC do have this safely if they just want to push in.
Yeah, they definitely do have it safely. That Aegis snatched up by the Void meant so much. I mean, they have enough to give Void runs. They have those stuns locked down, but second time is simply too much as everybody else is already has spent their stuns and whatnot. And Krillly, you see them, it's back in 4 HP. Butterfly just 700 gold being completed. At which point, I really do not think they kill Krillly multiple times or even once in a single team fight. And here we go, they're looking for the mid-racks, only Beastmasters alive. And there's a buyback from the Chaos Knight, 10 seconds to the Invoker. But at this point, there's nothing that will stop Krillly as Focus Fire from the low ground, from the Windrunner, Curly just working on this tower. Tower not tanky enough. YapzOr does not have his ultimate. He does have his ultimate. So he can make a go and at least force Curly back. Tower's still alive. I think they are actually going to defend the Rex.
Yep, everybody's respawned except for the Leshrac, but what is really important in these team fights is Invoker is pretty much doing nothing, as Sparta has such a good game, but these last couple of team fights he's been pretty much a non-factor. He's been focused, he's being hexed, I don't know. I think he's starting to regret that AC purchase, as like you said, he had 7k gold at one point, and he got an AC, so that might come back to haunt him a bit. But we'll see, as looks like the rating, they're going to smoke up. They're trying to make something happen. Void has Chronosphere. He does have buyback. Will he buy the Butterfly? He does not have buyback, as he needs about 350 more gold before to have buyback. So it looks like he might just pick up the Butterfly. No, he's just going to farm for the buyback. But there's going to be a backstab gank. Going to try to pick off the Queen of Pain. Just finished Shiva's, but she able to blink away just fine. Curly has a haste rune. He can escape. What will he sell? He's just going to run around in the trees.
When YR was walking up that plateau into enemy jungle, they were pinged out by that one sentry ward. They were seen, and that caused the immediate dispersion of the Dire Squad, and they all just went back to the base. And now, as smoking was not successful, YR really need those smoke gangs to come make that comeback. And they're gonna try one more push right to the heart of the enemy base. I don't think a push like that will work. Especially, well, there's no reason to push the mid lane anymore.
Oh, well, Void just finished Butterfly. He doesn't have buyback. If they can give Void, they can just end the game. That might have been a huge mistake by Curly. But will YR capitalize on that? That is a key point, as the Butterfly will be useful. Help his illusions, help his evasion. But it might come back to butt him in the butt a little bit. But all the while, the bottom lane's being pushed down. As what will YR do? That is the question. Looks like Invoker charging in very bravely. Here comes the blink, the BKB, as Roar goes on the Void. Rubik casts a Chronosphere. Does not catch anybody in that Chronosphere. Again, Invoker's the first one to fall. YapzOr is going to fall as well. Here comes the Shackle Shot slowing him down. Pulse Noah trying to do as much work. Looks like Leshrac will trade his life for his Chaos Knight for now. Will Chaos Knight survive? Will this be a worthy sacrifice? YapzOr taking too much damage. Dies once again. And I think this Invoker being out of position so much is going to cost YR the game. That's going to be so unfortunate. They played so well for so long. But unfortunately, they cannot seal the deal.
Man, when the going gets tough, they weren't clutch enough. I think that's how it goes. Yeah,
man, that Rubik Chronosphere hit nobody. Nobody.
I mean, even if it hit like 4, Void was enough by himself. He just took out immediately the Invoker in the beginning of team fight. Imagine, keep in mind that when you're taking out the Invoker, you're taking out like at least 3 or 4 spells. You're taking out Scythe, you're taking out the Assault Cuirass. That is going to provide armor bonuses for everybody else. And once you just lose so much at the every beginning of a team fight, you're not going to have a easy way to win that.
Yep, Beastmaster going to get Sonic Waved, Voided, and he's going to die as well. Curly just going into town. That was looking a bit grim. If they killed Curly, Raiden could have won the game, but unfortunately without the disables, they had Beastmaster was not caught in the Chronosphere. He did roar the Void. Unfortunately, the Chronosphere was still up. They couldn't really get too much damage on the Void, considering Invoker and Chaos Knight were both trapped by it, so that was unfortunate for YR. And they're going to lose 2 Rex. Looks like 4FC, they're just going to back up, play it a bit slow. They know they have time. They know they have buyback coming in. They know they can just wait.
Yeah, perhaps it was a item choice to not go Blink. That was a mistake for the Radiant team. I felt like it's odd to say that Invoker, Beastmaster, Chaos Knight does not have enough initiation, but all of these team fights that we have witnessed is every single time it's Void jumping in, Chrono getting 3 or 4. That's how these team fights have started. And sometimes the Radiant team respond properly. Sometimes they could get a counter Chrono off. They could scythe up Krilly and have it go, oh, Sparta, wrong neighborhood, my friend. He's got to be very, very careful. Jump in here. They want actually the Chaos Knight instead. And Sparta, let's see how much he could do. There's a meteor with Deathling Blast. And look at, he is actually doing something if he's not caught out, but it's just too little, too late, and that Void is just too big right now. Sparta is going to go down as well, and this game is all but over.
Yep, Curly just going to time walk back in to finish the job. Leshrac gets hexed. It's going to be a complete team wipe. Only Beastmaster is a survivor. He can only stand and watch as his friends fall one by one. Unfortunate for YR, but that is the problem when you're facing such a strong late game carry in the form of a Void, and we're facing a mobile hero like the Queen of Pain who can keep the lane to push. You do have to seal the deal eventually, and unfortunately for YR, they could not, as a big lag spike comes in. Is that just me? That is just me. So that's a bit unfortunate, as hopefully it'll fix itself very, very soon. But yeah, this game is all but over at this stage in the game.
Yulong, you're lagging very, very badly for me just right now. So
Yeah.
hopefully, it is not an issue on the stream, and
Well,
if it's an issue, that it will not persist.
it was just in that one instance for about 5 seconds, and they already took Mega Creep. So hopefully that did not disturb you guys a little too much. But thank you all for watching. My co-caster has been Lunas. This is the THOR Fragbite Open Qualifier number 2. This is the first match of the semifinals. Game 2 will be back very, very soon. So thank you for watching, and see you soon.